Okay, we're kind of coming into the end of the semester and it gets really busy, so I wanted to post a video and talk about where we are and where you should spend your time, and if possible, and talk about a couple options I want to add. But here's the agreement in the syllabus. That is what I told you we would do, and again, this is kind of a contract from my point of view. That 60% of your grade would be based on your average quiz score over 8 quizzes. Quiz number 8 over Unit 8 will be given during the final exam period, uh, and it will be equally weighted with the others. So basically, if you take 8 quizzes and if you divide 60% by 8 quizzes, each one's worth about 7.5% of your grade. Um, so what I do is I just take the average quiz score and then multiply it by 0.6 for 60% of your grade. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Um, and then 20% will be your research project, which you just turned in this past Friday, and 20% will be the tax return project that you'll turn in toward the end of the semester. I weighted these more heavily because this is the first semester I've given quizzes and I wasn't quite sure how it would go. So I wanted to leave more of your semester grade in your control. Um, and so we'll talk about that. All right. And then I offered you up to 2 makeup quizzes, no more than that. All right. Now I want to look at the schedule for just a second, talk about where we go there. This is the 9:30 class, by the way, just if you're looking at this. Everything should look the same except the final exam time. Okay, so we'll pick up this coming week and continue Unit 6 and have 6 quiz, and then we'll be working on 7 and have 7 quiz next Wednesday and so forth. The quiz over Unit 6, as I stated in the study guide, will be over what we've covered through the 4th, through November 4th. The little bit of information we have left in Unit 6, I will not put on the quiz. I am going to, with one exception, I'm going to post a video or 2, or however many it takes, probably not more than 1 or 2, covering the remainder of the information, and I'm going to make that optional viewing. You will not be tested on that material, although I do think it's, semi-important material to learn. So, if you have a chance, take a look at it, or after the semester, maybe if you've got it downloaded, you can take a look at it. It will not be on any exam, though. The one thing that I am going to cover during, as a video that you are to watch during class time out of Unit 6 is this 20% Section 199 deduction. I think that's a very important concept. You're going to have to deal with it a little bit on the tax return. I'm going to probably hit it at a very high level for 10 or 15 minutes at the most, and that's what I'll expect you to know for the tax return. Again, you will not be tested on that information in a quiz because it's Unit 6 material. All right, so very quickly, certainly after the first 15 or 20 minutes or so, on Monday, we will move into Unit 7 and get as far in Unit 7 as we can. This is depreciation and related topics of write-off of assets that you use in your trader business, and so something you'll need to know for the tax return problem, and of course for Unit 7 quiz. I'm hoping that we can then finish that up on Wednesday in addition to the quiz. That will be close enough that I can post a couple of videos and do that. So quiz 6 is Wednesday. Quiz 7 then will be the following Wednesday, but we will finish, I hope we finish Unit 7 material and can move into Unit 8, and we'll have 3 class periods on Unit 8. So you'll notice that last class period being the Monday of Thanksgiving. So you'll notice I really did not set aside a time for the makeup exams because I wanted to cover material for the entire class. And some of the class may not take makeup exams. In fact, after you see what I have to say in a minute, maybe most of you will not. We'll see. I will give one makeup exam during this period to anyone who wants a makeup exam. And then if you need to, and again, I doubt very many will, especially after we have our conversation in a moment. But if you do, then we'll have to arrange that separately. Okay, for those of you in the 8 o'clock class, the Section 1 class, Your final is, and I think I mentioned this earlier, is on a Thursday, which is too late for graduating seniors. And so we'll have to talk about for graduating seniors when they will take the final exam. All right, I wanted to stop the video here, and I'll come back with some more discussion in a second. Okay, so after some further thought, I wanted to talk about a couple of additional options I'm going to give you, and I want to start out here with the discussion of the syllabus approach, and then we'll go from there. So the syllabus has us taking 7 quizzes. The 8th quiz will be the final exam. We are going to have an 8th quiz during the final exam period over Unit 8. Everyone will need to take that. You'll have a 0 that won't go away if you don't take it, or you'll have a poor grade if you do poorly. So everyone needs to take the Unit 8 quiz. So let's say you take all 7 quizzes and you're happy with your basic average, then you're good. Where I want to concentrate today, since everyone's going to take quiz 8, it's the final exam. I want to talk about the first 7 quizzes. So let's say you take all 7 and you're happy with your score, then your score would be calculated this way. I would average all 8 quizzes, including the final. I'll average those, and then I'll multiply that by 60%, and you come out with that. And then your tax research project is times 20%, and your tax return project will be by 20%. I'm going to post this spreadsheet, and you can kind of play with these numbers. Put your quiz scores in here and see how they fit and so forth. All right, and so if you were this student, you would end up with a C in the class. All right, now this student would have the option of taking up to 2 makeup quizzes. Obviously, probably you can take any makeup quiz you want, but I would think you'd probably want to concentrate on quiz 5 and quiz 6. And if you do better, and I'll come back and look at that in a second, then obviously this grade would go up. Now, so that's kind of the way it's spelled out in the syllabus. I feel like I need to honor the syllabus and what I promised you, and so that is certainly option number 1. I do want to offer you a couple other options, however. The second option is kind of the other extreme. You don't take a makeup at all. If you do not take a makeup, what I will do automatically is to drop your lowest 2 quiz scores out of the first 7. Everyone takes quiz 8. Quiz 8 is going to be part of your score. It's the final quiz, the final exam. Of the first 7 class quizzes, however, I will drop the lowest 2. So notice here I would drop the 50 and the 40, quiz 5 and 6. And so what I would average in here would be quiz 1, 2, and 3. I'm just going to go up here and put quiz 4. I'm dropping 5 and 6. They're not here. Quiz 7 then comes in, and then, of course, the final. Everyone will have this one. So I'm going to, when I say the top 5 of the first 7, that means the non-final quizzes, the one we've had during class, and the final, average that together. And notice what that does for the grade. Again, I'm just leaving this the same. Tax return and tax research project are the same. And now, by dropping those 2 lowest scores, we get to 80. Okay? And then I'll give you one other option, and that is to take 1 makeup exam. If you do that, I will drop your lowest score. And then, now here's the thing, if you take the makeup exam, and I've got this student taking the makeup exam for quiz 5. So the student knows I'm going to drop quiz 6. They're going to take the makeup exam for quiz 5. If you take the makeup exam, you get the highest score. So if you make a 40 on the makeup, you'll get to keep your 50, but it will be 50. Whereas over here under option 2, that 50 gets dropped. Okay. So, if you have 3 or 4 bad grades, obviously you're going to have to take a makeup exam. Now, if you want 2 makeup exams, you're going to have to make up 2 of these grades. The deal over here under option 3 is that you drop 1 score and you do 1 makeup exam. Okay. And so if this student did that, they would drop quiz 4. Is that right? Let's see. I'm sorry, this is 5 and 6. So they would drop quiz 6. I'll go back and do this right. But anyway, Let me stop the video and get it straightened out. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that. I was playing around with these numbers earlier and I didn't get them straightened back out. Okay, so we're going to drop quiz 6 under this third option and take the makeup for exam 5, for quiz 5. Okay, so instead of making 50, the student made 70, which is better, so I'll replace that grade, and then here's the result. Okay, so notice by choosing to drop their lowest grade and take a makeup for quiz 5 and making a 70, they didn't do as well as if they had simply let me drop the 2 lowest scores. Okay, now, therefore, probably this doesn't round up to a B, so they actually, by taking that makeup, ended up with a lower grade. Under this scenario with these grades, you're going to have to run your own numbers. Now, if they had made an 80, then okay. If they had made 100, but notice, even if they made 100 with all of these grades, and I know you don't know these two yet, but you can sort of plug different grades in and see how it works. And, you might say, well, 70 is the worst I could have made, and, 95 is the best I could have made or something, and plug those numbers in and then run these numbers and see how it works. So you can experiment around, but notice, just not going to get any better. So a B is a B, okay? So I think in most instances, it's going to work out better if you take option number 2, take your highest 5 quiz scores, and then, of course, everyone has to take the final. But you're going to have to run your numbers and kind of make your decision. So here are the 3 options. I want to be sure they're clear. 1, stay with the syllabus option. Take all 7 quizzes. Then you can make up 1 of the quizzes or 2 of the quizzes as you want. But probably if you stay with this option, you're going to make up 2 quizzes. And that's why you're there, okay? So let's go back here and let's say that this student, made up quiz 5 and 6 and made an 80 on both. Okay, well, they get to a B, but then they would have been at a B if they had just let me drop the 2 scores and they took time to study for these 2 quizzes when they could have been using that time to work on the final exam and the tax return problem. So that's something you have to think about. Now, if you go this option, by the way, let's say that instead of having done poorly on 5 and 6, I'll go back over here. This was a 50, I think. This was a 40. Okay. Instead of doing poorly on 5 and 6, at this point in time, you're sitting here with exam 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you like your score. You average that score, and you like the average score you come out with. Then you don't need to take it, quiz 6 and 7. If you choose this option, you only need 5 scores. I'll drop your lowest 2 scores. 6 and 7 will be zeros if you don't take them. So that's what I'll drop, and I'll average your first 5 scores. Now, please don't not study 6 and 7 material. You're going to need it for the tax return. It's an important part of what we cover in the course. But you're going to be lost when you get to Schedule C and when you get to depreciations for Schedule 4562 if you don't study 6 and 7. But the point is, you could spend your time studying 6 and 7 rather than taking quizzes on 6 and 7. So it's an option for you, and it's kind of a reward for you if you've done well on the first 5 quizzes. You do still have to take the final. Everyone takes the final, quiz 8. Want to be sure that's clear. Okay, I'm going to post the video. I'm also going to post this spreadsheet. If anyone has any questions, let me know. But you basically have 3 options. So what do you do at this point? Nothing. Okay. If you make the decision, I'm happy with my first 5 quizzes, then just don't take quiz 6 and 7 if you don't want to. If you're not quite happy, you might take 6 and 7, but you don't have to spend all the time you might normally spend studying for them. See how it goes. If you do better than you did on one of the first 5, well, then great. But if you don't, you haven't really lost anything. So, there are a lot of ways that you can play this game, especially under option 2. Now, after we've had all 7 quizzes during class, I'm going to ask you if you want to take 1 makeup or 2 makeups. And I'm going to ask you if you want 0 makeups, 1 makeup, or 2 makeups. If you choose 1 makeup, then you're going to be under option 3. Okay. If you choose 0 makeups, you're going to be under option 2. And if you choose 2 makeups, you're going to be under option 1. So the only thing, right now, the only thing you need to think about is what would be in my best interest at this point in terms of the remaining 2 quizzes, 6 and 7. After quiz 7, then you need to look at where you stand. Pull this spreadsheet back up, look at where you stand, and then say, okay, do I want to take a makeup? Is it worth my time? If I drop 2 scores, am I going to be where I want to be? If I am, then I would advise you not to take the makeup and spend your time doing something else. Okay. Working on the tax return problem, studying for the final, that sort of thing. So it's up to you. Hopefully this gives you some flexibility with your time and with your study to apply yourself and do the best you can in the course, and also to learn as much as you can. Again, if you have questions, let me know. I'm going to stop the video here.